Hi, I want to welcome you to Texas Landlords. This is a Facebook community that I've created because I'm passionate about Texas landlords, and I'm passionate about um, teaching landlords how to get the most out of their rental units. Um, Essentially, what every landlord wants is to go from always pays late to top rate. These are the tenants you want. You don't want the tenants that always pay late. You want the top rate tenants always. Everybody wants that. Everybody wants the tenant who pays his rent on time, who doesn't complain, and who is taking care of the rental property just like they would. Well, the truth is, most tenants aren't born knowing how to do these things. There are a lot of great kids who naturally are clean and prompt and follow rules. And they grow up to be adults who do that. But that's not everybody. Most of us are a little lazy and we break rules and we tend not to do things on time until we're shown a better way. And so that happens sometimes in our classrooms. It happens at the dinner table. And sometimes it happens between landlords and tenants. And the reason I bring these things up is because I've got experience with all three of them. Before I was an attorney, I was actually a teacher in public school. And I remember that the strategy that worked best for me was when I held students to a much higher standard than the school district was asking for, or that even the state of Texas was asking for. I found that when I held students to that higher standard, the ones who rose to that standard did excellently, but everybody else at least met the minimum. What it did was it created an environment where students were expected to do more and were expected to do better than their peers, and they shocked themselves when they did. Um, but this was a lesson I learned from being a dad. I'm a father of three, and I use similar strategies with all of my children. You know, my goal for raising my kids was to have high expectations of them and to hold them to strict standards so that they knew how to get by in things like school and at home, and ultimately to grow up and be productive adults. And I think we all want that for our kids. And if those of us who were teachers at one time or are teachers now, we want that for our students. We want an excellent performance from our students. And I'm sure that the same thing is true of landlords and what they want from tenants, because I hear it all the time. How do I get from always pays late to a top rate tenant? Well, a lot of that comes from a strategy that I implement and what I try to teach all the landlords that I come into contact with. And so you'd be surprised, but the use of eviction is a powerful training tool and a good deterrent for those borderline top rate tenants. What do I mean? Well, if you hold a tenant to the highest standards and you use eviction as a tool to ensure that they comply or they walk, then you're going to find the best tenants get back into line and stay in line. And the ones who never would, they leave, either because you force them out or because they don't want to deal with you because you're holding them to a standard they can't live up to. And so they'll leave. And so what you're going to learn over the next weeks and months as you participate in this Facebook group is all the small gems of information that I've picked up over a decade of litigating cases between landlords and tenants. I hope you find this as a resource, and I hope every time you come to this page, you are learning something new. And if you've learned something, I bet if you share something, 10 or 15 or 20 or 100 other people are going to see it and go, whoa, I never saw things that way. And if more landlords implemented these kinds of strategies, there would be a huge influx of really, really happy landlords instead of, what tends to be the case is the frustration and the agonizing and the I can't believe this is happening to me. Um, we can demand better out of the people that we work with. And so, as landlords, you can demand better out of your tenants. And I'm going to help you do that. And so, use me as a resource, use each other as a resource in this Facebook group. I'm looking forward to a lot of great things happening. Again, if you want to go from always pays late to a top rate tenant, you've got a few things to learn here, and I'm happy to show them to you. Again, we can get there together, and I'm hoping that all of us can pool our information, our knowledge, and experience, and really get a lot out of this Facebook group. I'll see you again. Bye.